What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Commissioner We Have a Problem. Today we have another special guest with us, Josh. And before we get started, a reminder, the Outmanage app is in the App Store. It's on the web. Get in there. Outmanage us. Justin's not doing so well, so he's making excuses in the chat. But
Justin hates your app also.
I know. Just kidding. Justin added the rules for another league. It's actually really nice to be able to reference the rules. So I think I'm going to try to add power rankings. Zach Miller suggested that, and then I think I'm going to add some like video game type achievements where it's like if you start a player who's projected less than 5 and you win a match, you get an achievement, stuff like that. So those are some of the things. I'll like to try to source ideas, but those are some of the things I'm going to try to add. So there's the shameless plug at the beginning rather than the end this time.
Yeah. And shout out to Dez. The seed sponsorship there.
Hey,
I think that was great. Really got us off the ground.
That's the last Dez sponsorship. He's got to fund more money before we just get him free sponsors. So
yeah, that's true. All right. Yeah. Well, welcome, Josh. Glad to have you. We did line this up perfectly where you and I play each other, and unfortunately, my fate is sealed with that latest Aaron Rodgers touchdown. He can't fumble the ball twice, and I win somehow. But anyway, glad you're here.
Me too. Glad to be here. Second time.
Yeah, that's right. So it's fun to catch you guys. It's been probably like 6 months since your episode. So I guess we'll ask anything new. How's life? Any crazy updates?
One rule: you're not allowed to apologize for talking about your fantasy football team on our fantasy football team podcast. Okay, Josh, that's the one rule you have.
It's encouraged.
Okay. Did I do that a lot last time?
Yeah, you did it a lot last time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I won't. Yeah, this is a fantasy football podcast, so whatever.
Yeah. Good.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Had we had our baby when we talked?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
He was born in January. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, still have him. And daycare was off today for Columbus Day or
Indigenous Peoples Day.
People Day. So anyway, I was watching Piper for most of the day. We went to the zoo, and then parks when I got home. Piper. So it's
Justin kind of threw you a curveball there. He didn't say he was going to ask you about any updates on your life. He just kind of threw that in there as we got started. So
I just realized Josh was like the second show that we did. So it was so long ago.
That's true.
Wow, I was only the second one. Who was the first again?
I think it was just me and
Or
Logan.
was it just you and Logan?
You were
Okay.
I think you were the very next guest though. So really the first guest.
I think so. Yeah.
So
That's funny.
anyway.
Dang,
Well, cool.
Man, look at y'all now.
Glad to hear Park's still alive. That's definitely a win. Keeping a newborn alive.
Yeah.
I'll know what that's like eventually.
Dude, yeah.
Dude.
Wait, what's the due date again?
February 3rd. So it's gonna be here.
Dude, that's
crazy,
so exciting.
crazy fast. But
He said they're gonna try to deliver 3 weeks late so that he kind of the same birthday as me.
Nice.
So.
not quite.
Wait, well,
but hey, if it was like a week late, it'd be Super Bowl. That'd be kind of fun.
That'd be.
Yeah, very cool. Very fantasy football-ish.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's start diving into the good stuff, the reason why our faithful listeners gather, and that's to hear about how the season's going. So, Josh,
Yes.
I think we want to start with how your season's been so far, what you can recollect here. So I'll go ahead and share.
I wrote a bunch
over there.
of stuff down, actually. I'm a nerd.
There
Well,
go.
kind of.
We like a prepared man. Also, Justin, I hate that you changed your team name in your picture. I can't find your team ever when I'm looking for it because I've been looking for the team name and picture the first 5 weeks, and you changed it. And your other one was more clever. That's all I have to say. You made me think about it. Continue, Josh.
Huh?
Nothing.
You can listen. You can listen back and get it.
Okay.
I just had to rant. I had to give like a 10-second rant.
Got it.
So yeah, Josh, how has your season been so far? I mean, we'll talk about our matchup in just a second, but 3-2, what stands out for you?
I don't know. So that first week, I think we were in Corpus Christi, and my team did really well. And I remember, I remember telling Anne-Marie, I was like, babe, Logan rated my team so low. Look how many points I've scored this week. And she was like, wow, very cool, Josh. And anyway, so I went back to, you guys had just recorded Josh Rich's episode, and I replayed it. I replayed some like portion of it back to her of like how you guys were like like Josh was saying that my team looks like pretty good, and you guys are like, it's okay, Josh, you don't have to be nice to him because you want Tyreek. And Justin said something about like, yeah, there's something in the water there, like, you know, his team doesn't look very good type of deal or whatever. So anyway, I played that back for her, and she was like, wow. So she was playing along, and it felt really good.
So what I'm hearing is that you were like 3 of the 12 listeners for that one episode.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that was a good week. I mean, 145 week 1 to beat, you know, the quote league favorite.
Good week to start the season.
For sure.
Yeah, it felt good. And then all of a sudden my entire team was injured after 1 week. It was crazy.
Oh yeah. Pacheco, right?
It was so nuts. Pacheco, Brown.
AJ Brown, Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
AJ Brown. Yeah, Kenneth Walker got injured. Jordan Love got injured. And so that affected
Tua
Jaden
got
Reed,
hurt.
and then Tua got hurt, so that affected Tyreek. So it was like nuts. And so it felt pretty bleak that week. I was like, I'm done. And
did you go back and listen to our podcast episodes again after that?
No, but they were ringing in my ears.
Good.
And so anyway, at that point, I was kind of just like holding on hope for Jordan Love coming back, because I was really excited about Jaden Reed, the way he popped off week 1. I remember Blake texted me, and he was like, I was in Wimberley. I was at a Wimberley high school football game with my dad, and it was actually like amazing. It's like up in the hills, and so it's super beautiful. But Blake texted me, and he was like, dude, I think he said so, like, I don't want to like get it wrong, but he said something along the lines of like, dude, you might have the new Tyreek or something like that. Or it was some sort of like text like that. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so anyway, I was really holding on hope when I saw that Jordan Love was coming back. So I don't know. It was enough for me to like think I can maybe get through this if I can just like get a few wins. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Like there's been like, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, I scored like a decent amount of points. Like I think it was, or no, 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Kenneth Walker went off like last week, I think is what it was.
Yeah, week 4 here.
And so that felt good having him back and go nuts. And so I don't know. I'm just kind of in a mode of just like get me to the playoffs, and maybe Tua will be back. Maybe, you know, will be healthy, and Pacheco will be back. And, you know, obviously the Chris Godwin thing happened out of nowhere.
That's right.
I don't know.
I mean, you had those picks just burning in your pocket.
I know, because what
was the trade again?
Well,
it was
a 2027 first for a 28-year-old wide receiver.
Wait, hold on. Let me kind of paint the hypothetical picture in my brain of what I think occurred. So if you notice that day, Christian, I think he picked up 2 random Chiefs tight ends, like Chief tight ends. He picked like 2 of them up, I think. And so I'm picturing him just like in like this interesting moment, like maybe he's pooping, maybe he's laying in bed, I don't know. And he's just like he's on sleeper, just like piddling around. And
definitely pooping.
He's just like he's piddling around on sleeper, and he picks up both. Like he's looking at Travis Kelce. And he's just like staring at him, and he's like, man, like, what am I going to do with this guy? And he's like, he's so old. He's going to retire soon. Like, what am I going to do? I'll just like, let me just pick up all their tight ends. And then obviously he's like, man, who has Noah Gray? Oh yeah, Josh does. And then he noticed that I sent him some sort of offer for Chris Godwin. I don't remember exactly what it was. But it was like at the pretty early in the season. And so I think, yeah, his wheels started churning, and he was like, okay, I want the Chiefs. I want the next Chiefs tight end. And so, I don't know, in this moment of like, whatever, you know, A plus B plus C, he was like in this weird Chiefs tight end moment in his game for him to be able to want to send me that kind of trade. And so literally it just popped up in my inbox. It was a first. It was my last first, my only first for, and Noah Gray for Chris Godwin.
And both of your thirds. You have no draft picks left.
Well, that was at first it was
got
just
one.
At first it was
Does
just. I think at first it was just Chris Godwin. I think. Sorry, Christian, if I'm wrong, but it was just Chris Godwin and Noah Gray in a first. So there was nothing else on his end, and so we just kind of I was like, oh, interesting, and then we just kind of had a back and forth. And I don't know. He said something along the lines of I'll throw in Cortland Sutton as a flyer if you want, and I was like, okay. And then he kind of backtracked, and we just went back and forth, and then eventually just kind of landed somewhere. And because like I said, I sent him an offer for Chris Godwin at the beginning of the season. I really liked, I don't know, I typically just go into the game logs of their career, and it just seemed like, he seemed really durable. It seemed like he had a really good floor, and the vibes were there. I was like, I feel like he's gonna,
How many years are you hoping to get out of him?
I mean, at least one.
So you're really just worried about this year?
No, I mean, there's I feel great about this year for him, and then obviously and then I can see 4 years of this good, so who knows? But I at least feel good about this year, and feel still great about next year too. Anyway, I just with AJ Brown,
Chris Godwin's a big add to your team, so
yeah, with AJ Brown having been out. And then, it's just I don't know the what I'm trying to say. The Tyreek Hill situation with Tua has just been a big sort of expectation loss of my season, and so anyway, I just needed to make this move. I think. I mean, and it kind of somewhat shut up out of nowhere. So.
Well, yeah, Christian. In my opinion, I've told him I think he sold way too early, but he seems happy with his picks. He's having fun, but he sold the farm, and I think you. At first I thought y'all's trade was really uneven, but when you had me look at it, I was like, okay, that's actually fairly even. I think he's still an old tight end, or an old wide receiver, but you'll get a year or two out of him.
I mean, but think about it though. I think there's a lot of receivers that hit their prime in that 27,
Mike Evans
28.
is 32. Yeah.
Mike Evans is a anomaly. You can't compare receivers to Mike Evans.
Yeah, but look at Devontae Adams,
Cooper Kupp,
DeAndre Hopkins. Cooper Kupp's had some relevancy after 30, but there's a handful of guys that are still producing starting numbers after 30, and so 28, spring chicken.
Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins have both been frustrating the last. Devontae Adams is better than Hopkins. And granted, Hopkins is on. He has Will Levis throwing to him, so it's really hard to judge anything based on that. But even and again, I guess you can say the same about Devontae Adams. He's on the Raiders, but they're boom or bust guys with a lot of bust in there, to where it's hard to start them. So I don't know. Past 30s, it's.
To be fair though,
me.
How many receivers are there that are not boom bust? I would say there's probably 10 that you can start every week and expect 10 points every week. We can name them off right here. You got the top 3 guys like Jamar, but even people like Jamar, they have weeks of less than 5, and then they have 40-point weeks.
Yeah, but he's mostly having good weeks. Every receiver is gonna have a down week, but boom or bust guys, it's you're either getting 0 or you're getting 15 to 20 on a regular basis, but it's not any kind of pattern. You're not consistently getting good. Boomer bust guys, it's a toss up every week. Guys like Jamar Chase, you're good every week, except sometimes he falters.
What I saw with Chris Godwin, mainly what I saw with him was double digit no matter what every week. That's kind of what I had in my head, of just and obviously that could be wrong and stuff, but that's kind of what I was hoping for with that trade is, this is a double-digit guy I can have on my team every week and not have to worry. It's not Gabe Davis.
Wow. You're such a Gabe Davis believer too.
Well, he also scored 19 points this week. Gabe Davis.
Yeah, but you're never going to start Gabe Davis though.
I know. No, 100%. So
fun anecdote about Gabe Davis, and we're in a 16-team league, really deep rosters. I have one guy on my bench that was playable this week. It was Gabe Davis. It's that's how unstartable he's been. It's I sat him as well. So sorry, continue.
No, for sure. So yeah,
I think it was a good trade. I don't think you have to defend yourself. I mean, I think, the initial knee-jerk reaction was like, maybe that was a lot or an overpay for Godwin, but he just put up 30. He's had close to 10 points or more every single week, and the Bucks team is like air raid, man.
Yeah, and for sure. That's true. Baker definitely was another reason why, obviously, I was like, I feel good about this. But if you look at his game log, it just doesn't seem like he misses a lot of games. Or he has, like, it doesn't look like he's missed a lot of games in his career. So I don't know. But so I was just like so scared of, injuries over the past few weeks.
I mean, that's why you traded for Pacheco last year. James Conner got hurt, and you're like, shoot, I got to get someone.
Mm-hmm.
You're living by the skin of your teeth every season.
Yeah, that's where I'll be at forever now.
Yeah. So I want to take a peek now at the standings. This week is wrapping up week 6. For you guys who can't see the screen here, we're checking out the matchups here. It looks like you're going to edge out me by 10 plus points here because Aaron Rodgers is playing like a quarterback and scoring points. So congratulations on the week 6 win. That's going to bring you to 4-2.
Wait, real quick, your trade wasn't the only trade that happened this week, Justin.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you so much, by the way. I need to thank you in person for letting everybody know that I didn't have a quarterback this week.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, so I guess that is super relevant because it's literally won you this matchup. What was your trade?
No, he had Joe Flacco, so he actually would have still won.
Right,
but
right. Yeah, I would have still
Aaron
won.
Aaron Rodgers is a little bit more dependable, I think.
Well, what's crazy is I really thought everything that I was reading was saying that what's his face was going to start.
Anthony Richardson?
I told you 2 weeks ago that I thought Anthony Richardson was going to be out a couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I just was like, okay, yeah. So I was going to start Joe Flacco no matter what. I was going to if he was going to get me 0 points, because he was going to be out. I was just like, whatever. I don't really know what to do. And so. I'm kind of
bummed you traded for Aaron Rodgers because that would have been a pretty sick move. It's just like to stick with Joe Flacco, and then when he's the starter, like announced 20 minutes before the game, you would have looked pretty sweet. You looked pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's what was going to happen. But yeah, Justin thankfully got me a 3-time MVP. So yeah, it was just funny. Like out of nowhere, Ryan sent me that trade. It didn't take me a second. I was like, all right, here you can have.
That's where your last pick went because I was like, wait, Josh has another pick, but Logan, you're right. This was his last one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I got 35 out of it too.
Yeah, the backstory for this, I was eyeing up our matchup, and he had Flacco, and then also Derek Carr, who's out with injury, and then Patrick Mahomes, who's out on bye. Anthony Richardson was slated to start. All week they were saying
who you have, yeah.
Who I have, and I was like, I don't think I was going to start him. I started Geno on Thursday Night Football, but I was like, shoot, Josh doesn't have a QB. Like literally on waivers, there was nobody. I think it may have been like Aiden O'Connell, but I think he got scooped up or something. Anyway, I literally said in the chat, Josh has no QB, and then 10 minutes later, there's a trade for Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, I think he was going to do that anyway, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, if I truly did remember,
I had no clue.
Stupid of me.
Yeah, that was not even on my radar. An Aaron Rodgers trade.
Well done,
Classic
Justin.
me. Yep, shooting myself in the foot since 2020.
It would have been a lot funnier if Joe Flacco didn't score you enough to win, and that comment by Justin lost him the game. But still funny nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever. But yeah, you did allude to another trade in the league, so I'll just pull that one up really quick. It was pretty minor in the sense that there wasn't any landslide or major moves there. It was just Christian offloading his older assets. However, there was a little bit of a player swap here. The deal, I wanted Travis Kelce because Mark Andrews has been really frustrating. So I sent away David Njoku, who's been off and on hurt, and then the Browns as a whole are struggling for Kelce. So 7-year age gap. Both have had good moments as tight ends. Obviously, Kelce a lot more proven. But then I think where it gets interesting is I sent away Jameson Williams, who has always been a high upside guy, low floor, but he's definitely made improvements.
He's been good this year.
He's been good, but he's kind of one of those boom bust players. He's usually 3 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown. So I don't know. Yes, he could have some crazy games, and he will for sure. But Tank Dell tied to C.J. Stroud for a good bit, and then also with the injury news to Nico Collins, I saw that as a more dependable short side play. So anyway, it made sense for me. I also tagged on a third there, so people thought that was trade was leaning one way or the other. It was pretty even.
I thought it was even, and as I said in the chat, I didn't like that trade for either of you. I didn't really think it made sense for either of you, and Christian's logic around the trade is a sticking point for me, but I do think it is a fairly even trade.
Yeah.
Justin, I was surprised that you didn't make a move for a running back this week.
The problem is I didn't see one being available for less than a second, and I'm kind of in a boat where I don't have many picks over the coming years, and I don't know. 2027 is like my line in the sand of like just hang on to these for a bit, like that's the year we're transitioning to the Superflex. I feel like I've been burning holes in my pocket with picks, and I know it's worked out for some people like yourself, but I don't know. I was hesitant. I do like the running backs that I have on my team as depth pieces. It just worked out that they were on bye or hurt because, I literally have Jonathan Taylor out with injury, Achane on bye.
Justin also plays the 3 worst teams his last 3 weeks of the season, so he has a little bit more leeway here in the middle. Assuming, again, Wesley just put up a bomb on me last week and upset me, so it could always happen, but I feel like Justin has a little bit of breathing room to not have to waste those picks on the schedule.
I don't know. So you're right, Josh. I definitely thought about it, and I probably should have.
I mean, you were starting like Eric Gray or something.
Yeah, I literally started Eric Gray. It was kind of a dart throw, and obviously hindsight, Ray Davis. I didn't know James Cook was that questionable.
You had no idea.
Oh, yeah, is he doing well tonight?
Yeah, he's doing okay.
Doing amazing.
I don't think he would have been enough to beat you, but like the points that I was going to get from Eric Gray on a good week was probably as much as I would have gotten from a decent week with Ray Davis being the backup to James Cook. So I don't know. I should have went with it, but whatever.
Crazy.
But I will say this though. I think there's been some vocal folks in the league trying to make deals, and I don't know, like it's hard to like put yourself in another manager's thoughts, and it's easy to be like, oh, well, if I were you, I would do this, but like there's obviously lots of emotion. I mean, I think the emotional aspect of fantasy is like such an underrated piece because there is like that you draw a line in the sand. It's like I've made this promise to myself or whatever in terms of like managing your team, and like some people it's like I don't care about the future as much as I care about the present. I think that's a fair way to play fantasy. But then there's also some people that's like, I could go for gold. Like Logan was talking about earlier, it's like, I could sell the farm to make sure I have tippy top assets in terms of like immediate production, but at what cost of mortgaging the future? So I don't know. It's interesting to see everyone's perspective on it.
Well, and one thing that is fun is like obviously a few of us are in multiple dynasty leagues, but for all of us, like this is our primary league that we focus on above all else, and so like that emotion is there, and that's what makes it fun. Whereas like, there's a lot of like fantasy analysts, they're in like tons of dynasty leagues, so it's all number games. Like, okay, how many shares of this player am I getting? Like, what kind of trades am I doing? Where it almost starts to be a little bit more stock market. Like for us, it's like maybe we're in a couple, but like this is where we're focusing on. So there's a lot of emotion around it, and it feels a lot more real, which is really fun.
Yeah.
All right, we want to we haven't really recapped this week, so we probably should do that real quick.
Yeah,
I know we should talk about other people besides ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take a peek at the matchups. We already kind of talked about you and I, Josh. You're gonna eke me out. Some tough start sits for me. I had Eric Gray because no running backs, but otherwise both of our teams did pretty darn well. You had an unfortunate injury to Goddard, but other than
that was wild.
Everyone produced.
Yeah.
You might be getting Hawk might be coming back just in time if he's coming back after the bye.
He started practice today.
So you might be getting lucky.
Goddard pulled a hammy, right?
That's gonna hammies can linger.
Yeah. Josh Rich pulled a hammy last remember that?
yeah, I do. That was crazy. I was like so worried.
Ooh. A couple other matchups here. Logan putting the smackdown on Zach. We'll talk about his team and his projected win total in a minute. But I think a big surprise here. Well, maybe not a surprise, but well done, Ryan.
Holy
he
crap.
had some very favorable injuries and starts ability. Obviously, the big trades we talked about last week with Joe Mixon. He also traded for Brian Thomas Jr.
Did he get Chuba Hubbard too? Didn't he?
He's had him for a little bit.
No, he traded. He traded.
No, he got him from Christian or something.
Yeah, he did. 2 weeks ago.
That was September 27th. Okay, you're right. So yeah, really good performance from his team.
Completely new team.
Yeah, well, I think the catalyst there, Jaden Daniels, right? Like he's producing like a QB1, probably top 6 on the season, and then Terry McLaurin.
I think he's number 2. Right? I'm pretty sure he's number 2 on the season.
That's nice.
Yeah, balloons.
Those are great balloons too.
Yeah, he's got
balloons on the screen. Balloons on the screen for those listening. And Jaden Daniels has he's boosted up Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, and then Tyrone Tracy. So Devin Singletary banged up for the Giants, and Tyrone Tracy had some juice. I wish it was Eric Gray showing the juice, but Tracy did well, almost 20 points.
Yeah, then
so blowout victory
over
Blake's team. Yeah, scoring almost 140.
Wait, what did Saquon do this week?
5 points.
Yeah.
6.4.
Man, that's crazy.
I know.
Gosh, that offense has just sputtered. Wait, can you keep scrolling? So Bucky Irving.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he had a good showing for. Oh, okay, yeah, that sucks.
Browns are just bad.
Yep.
What do you guys think? Do you think Nick Chubb's going to come back and be similar to what he was and help the offense, or just be a non-factor?
I want him to, but I fear that he's not. I mean, I have him in our 16-team league, which I could really use him, but I don't think he's gonna. He'll be better than Jerome Ford, but he's not gonna be what he was. But
Blake had a good week. That sucks for Blake. Good job, Brian.
Did he have a good week? Did he put up 80?
I don't know. His players 91. Did decent. I don't know. I'm saying obviously just besides the sort of the things like Marvin Harrison Jr. going out, key players that he needed to perform, and then Saquon Barkley. Those two, I feel are he needs them to. Right. His other players performed, and so it sucks that his sort of key players didn't.
Yeah.
Looking at these bottom
Riley.
2. Yeah, I was gonna say the bottom 2 are probably more noteworthy. Wes, you should just change your handle here. I keep calling you Wesley because that's what you wrote, man.
That's true.
Wes's team.
Wes now?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey,
but he's going to be 1-5. Josh Rich going to be 5-1. So quite the opposites there on the spectrum. But teams that just keep winning. Zach Miller's team and Corey's team. We know Corey has a bunch of old studs like Derrick Henry, Mike Evans, etc. So they keep producing. Oh yeah, he did make that trade. But Christian's officially tanking. That's very clear. And then Riley, man, 38 points as of now. Who's he still have playing?
His max points for this week are around 85, 90. But he had some tough injuries in game. Olave got injured, and I think there was one other. Jordan Mason got injured.
Got hurt.
Oh, that's right.
But when you're starting Ramondre
out. So Lad McConkey got hurt. I don't know if he came back in, but I know he got hurt.
Bigsby didn't do much.
Yeah.
Jags are looking really bad. And then his defense got negative points. So that's a tough showing.
But look at his bench. His bench kind of popped off.
Oh yeah. Andy Dalton. Damian Pierce had a long touchdown run. Alan Lazard scoring touchdowns. And Romeo Doubs 2 touchdowns, yeah.
And even obviously it was in his taxi, but Troy Franklin got his first touchdown this week.
Oh yeah.
My boy out of Oregon.
Yeah, you love Oregon. Didn't they? Oh, they almost pulled it off, didn't they? Or they did.
They beat Ohio State, number 2 team in the country.
I was cheering for them for sure. But yeah, tough look, Riley. You had that 3-0 start, and now you're 3-3.
I think we cursed him when we
seriously.
Literally, when we started talking about Riley's team, he lost seconds after that.
Well, he had the first game of the season was Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, both of them going off. And we were and we were like, wait, this could work.
Yeah, jeez. I do want to take a peek at the updated standings. I guess they're not going to show Week 6 results, but all the top 5 teams all won. So really, they're just creating separation here. So in first place, we got Josh Rich going to be 5-1, Corey going to be 4-2, Zach Miller going to be 4-2. Logan's going to be 4-2. And then Josh, you are going to be 4-2. I'm going to drop to 3-3. And then Ryan's also going to be 3-3. But I think I will hold the tiebreaker due to points 4. But it's going to be really close. So that's currently the top 6. With me bringing up the rear. And then Ryan, hot on my tails in the 7th spot. But separation is really forming between the top and the bottom, I would say.
Well, I think it's, and again, I think we brought up this motif kind of frequently, but again, over the summer, or maybe it was the beginning of the year, you said most competitive season yet. I think at the top, it will be the most competitive. We're starting to see, like, top to bottom, it won't be. I think there's going to be a clear cutoff, at least after 7, maybe 8 slots, but I think the top 6, top 7, anyone could win it with how it looks right now, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Nice. We'll see how that goes.
I just noticed that Sleeper puts like these poop emojis and laughing emoji on points 4. Who has the highest, which is Corey.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
I don't know what.
I'd be interested to look. Let's look at the max points for and just see like what draft pick standings look like right now.
I don't think the web offers it.
Oh, it's not on the web.
I know, it's so lame.
That's crazy.
Yeah, while you're pulling that up, Josh, I want you to start thinking about your tiers for this week. So looking at these standings, knowing what this week's outcomes are, where current injury states are, players popping off. I want to hear your tiers of how you would rank teams as of now, week 6.
All right, so and then I'll read off. I'll kind of read off where the draft pick standings are for the bottom 6, and then we'll do our 5-win segment. I guess we'll call it that. So we got Wes is currently at the first pick, then Riley. Ryan was before this week, but I think he's going to pass. He might pass Blake and Zach. Believe it or not, so we'll say before this week, it was Wesley, Ryan, or Wes, Riley, Ryan, Zach, Levy, and then Blake with a bottom 6 and max points 4. I have a feeling after this week it will be Wes, Riley, Zach, Blake, Christian, and then
Ryan.
Yeah, and then Ryan. Actually, no, Ryan, I don't think. Ryan's not going to pass. No, Ryan might pass Zach. Ryan probably will pass Zach. Even though there's a 40 gap there, he's going to pass him. So, yeah, so speaking to Zach, I thought it might be fun just to take a look at his schedule on a week-to-week basis and determine how he's going to get to 5 wins. It's not really a matter of if at this point. It's kind of a win. So, and currently it's injury. So this week he had a real tough week. He had only one player on his bench, I think, that was playable, and it was Khalil Shakir.
Dak.
Yeah, Khalil Shakir is on his bench, and he's barely even playing tonight. I think he's not doing much. But last week Zach's team went off and got him that second win, but did not do that this week, and he's just injuries plaguing him, which is quite a bummer. So he's at 2 wins.
Not to be 2-4.
Yeah, let's take a look at his schedule real quick.
All right, so next week he's got Blake.
All right, go to. Oh yeah, we can do this. That's fine. On the user profile, you can look at schedule, but this works just as well.
Well, not on the web.
Oh man.
I know, right? So week 8, he's got Christian. So tanking, but hey, Christian's still putting up some heat.
I mean, it's still projected to beat him.
Yeah, week 9. Okay, he's got Riley.
Okay.
So there's 3 wins. I'm going to beat him. I don't know what's going on with my lineup this week, but I'm going to beat Zach. Don't worry.
It's because it still has Eric Green for you that week.
Yeah, probably.
Well, it's just buys and stuff.
Week 11, he's got Wes. Okay, so there's 4 wins. Week 12.
This is so dirty.
Ryan's for sure going to win.
Yeah, Ryan will take that.
And then week 13 is the last regular season, right? 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I think 12 is the last.
13, 14, 15. No, week 17 is the last week because there's 18 weeks now, right?
Okay, yeah. And so last week of the season, he's got you, Josh. So honestly, he's got to pull off an upset just to get to 5 wins.
That Christian might not be Christian. I think he'll probably beat Christian.
I don't know.
I think, yeah. Wow. All right. Hey.
Yeah.
Zach, you have a decent team. They're just injured, and you did something. I don't know what you did, but you did something, and I'm sorry for it.
But you never know. Fantasy football's stupid. Zach will score really 200 points next week.
And
it's so stupid.
I 100% agree because he does it every year. Zach, I think, has the highest. He has the highest score in our league, and maybe that's why. He like signed some deal to get the highest score every year at his team's expense. That must be what it is.
Those deals.
All right, Josh. Time for you to give us your tiers of the league. All right, can be as many as you want. Go ahead and fire them off.
This is tough. I wish I had done this beforehand. I forgot about this segment, but I don't know because one, like I hold such a weight in my brain when it comes to fantasy football of just like the chaos and unknown of it all.
Well, add that into the algorithm. I want to hear the Josh algorithm with chaos. And don't let Ryan's name being chaos control play into that. Or maybe you do. You tell me.
Well, it's crazy. It's crazy how much trades affect teams, obviously. So, I mean, it's just kind of wild to kind of see so quickly how, Ryan's team can put up like 140 in a week. And now all of a sudden, he's a team to be feared. I mean, it's crazy just like on a week-to-week basis, though, how like I scored 70 like 2 weeks ago. And so, I was not feeling hot then. And so it's just, I don't know at this point. I mean, yeah, I guess like a surefire teams in my brain are just Corey and Winnie.
That's your tier 1. You got 2 teams in your tier 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it's like surefire, they're going to put up, in like, somewhere between like 100, like 110 is kind of, the sort of median for their scores every week in my brain moving forward and for the whole season. Like if I was them, I'd feel good about, making it to playoffs and like having a chance to win the whole thing. And then I would put like, Ryan's definitely an interesting thing now. I don't really know what to do with him now. But tier 2 is like sort of more like anything could happen on a week-to-week basis teams, but the slight edge to, playoff bound. And I think sort of Logan laid it out earlier, and I would put that, just kind of how they're listed right now with Zach, Miller, Logan, me, Justin, and I guess I have to throw Ryan in there. And then Blake's team is like it's like he's on the outside, like looking in, like he's like knocking on the window, and he's like, hey, can I be in this tier 2 that you're describing? and I think if Saquon starts going off again, and Marvin Harrison Jr. does well, I think Blake could be in there as well.
Blake scored like 120 plus or something like that, like 3 weeks in a row, didn't he?
I know, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like, that's why it's like, it's hard to not be prisoner of the moment when it comes to football. So that's kind of that's why, like, in my brain right now, Blake, part of the reason is because of, this week. But, and then, I don't know, the turmoil of, like, the Eagles sort of, I don't know, culture situation. The situation there is kind of funny with
Sirianni yelling at the fans.
Yeah, ESPN's been having a field day.
It is weird. Yeah, they have.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But, I would kind of, and then I guess the tanking teams, like, I don't know. It's just it's like, Riley's kind of, I guess, I don't know.
Pause really quick.
Yeah.
What I heard for tier 2 was Zach, Logan, you, myself, and Ryan. Would you put Blake in tier 3 as a team of its own, like that on the fence?
Yeah, I would put him on like on the back end of tier 2 and on the front end of tier 3, just kind of
like
hanging into balance.
he's not trading to compete, but he's not selling to tank. He's just kind of existing.
No.
He's 2.5.
No, I think he's going to compete. It's just like he's on the back end of it, like where it's like it's tough sledding or whatever moving forward to do that. But I think, and like I said, it's prisoner of the moment. But that's the way it feels in my brain right now. If I had Blake's team, but I felt like that for my team like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. So things can change very quickly. People are going to start making more trades probably, and
I don't know. I don't know if they are. I think kind of the sellers have sold and the buyers have bought.
Yeah, maybe so. But I don't know if I guess Ryan will be 3-3. I don't know if he puts if Ryan loses maybe 2 or 3 weeks in a row, maybe he'd do some selling. I don't know.
That does sound like Ryan.
But maybe Riley will kind of have to. Maybe Riley could have to come to, because he was 3-0. So but maybe if he starts losing, he might have to come to terms with his situation.
I don't think he wants to sell because he has a lot of young players and he has draft picks now. So I don't know if he's going to be selling.
Yeah, maybe not. He could kind of, it'll just be interesting. I don't know.
So you got 4 left. You got Christian.
Well, he put them in the tanking team. I guess we'll.
Wes and
Zach. Zach.
Mr. 5 wins.
We just had a whole segment on Zach.
I know. Wait, so Zach is. Oh man, that is interesting. Zach is like the he's in the chaos, like he's in like the void. There's no tier for him. He's like, it's a void of a tier. And
sounds like a lot like there. Blake.
No. Blake is he's in between tier 2 and tier 3. But hard, like full stop, like two, like those are tiers. I'm saying Zach is like in the void of this whole conversation, to where it's like he every week you could lose to him for sure, but probably not. And so
he put up 100. He put up 130 last week with like four of his starters on bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Or injured, not on bye.
So he's just like, he's it's like, he's just like some sort of, I don't know.
He's floating out there. Outside of time.
Well, no, he's like an interesting. He's like a boss. Like he's like a boss you have to defeat in our like fantasy league, or like when you play him, it's like an in between level or whatever of like a boss level.
You're saying Zach is a beefed up NPC.
And and it's like he could be easy that week, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. I thought I was trying to make a good.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was, even with Zach's players hurt. Granted, I had a lot of buys and injuries this week too, but I was nervous to play him after seeing him put up 130 last week.
Yeah, but he's not. But he's not tier 2. He's not tier 3. But he's not tanking.
But he's also
just
have 5 tiers.
No, but because he's not like. It's not like his team is like something that like where I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to put him in like a tier 4.
He doesn't deserve to be ranked.
No, that's not quite it. It's undefinable for me.
Josh, I'm just trying to put words in your mouth, and you won't let me.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, these are my rankings. And then
I like it.
So he's in the void. He's in the void tier, and then Riley is in the like probably have to come to terms with reality tier. And so I think, I'll put Riley in the in just sort of the last tier, unfortunately, and like I feel bad just because he started out so hot. But right now, prisoner of the moment, I'm gonna put Riley, Wesley, and then I guess Christian now in the bottom tier.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So 2 undefines. No, 1 person that's in between. 2 and 3.
It's void tier.
No,
well,
yeah.
Blake's not in the void tier.
Oh, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, void, 4.
No.
Yeah.
1, 2, 2.5, 3, void.
Oh, okay.
Some would say 2.5 could be 3, but not in Josh's rankings.
Okay.
I got you, Josh.
Thanks.
All right. One last thing before we wrap this puppy up. I want to check out Josh's hot take. I kind of forgot what it was, but I have the app pulled up here.
Wow,
web
how
version.
great.
We're going to go ahead and review hot
Did you have to go
takes.
back and listen to these, Logan?
Yeah. It's on. Oh, sorry. It's on the content because it's not specific. It's not league necessarily. It's content.
I got you.
It is featured or it's under there.
Okay. So, Josh, wait, before I flip to it, do you remember what yours were?
That's funny. Corey did this. Yeah, he said the same thing as me with Z.
All right. I take that as a no.
Is that? Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I was looking at Josh. Anyway, whatever.
This is you.
Oh, I didn't say anything about Zeke. That's funny. Tony Pollard and Gabe Davis will be interesting.
So for those of you who can't see the screen right now, Levy had a couple hot takes here. One, that his team was going to win the fantasy championship. Not a hot take, but a little pumping your own horn there. And then Tony Pollard and Gabe Davis will be in the running for comeback player of the year, aka have amazing years.
I gave him the amazing years because I don't think Tony Pollard and Gabe Davis are even eligible for comeback player of the year, but
fantasy comeback player of the year.
Tony Pollard he's been fairly decent.
Yeah, he's been great.
Even though you sit him every week, Josh.
No, I don't.
Didn't you
play
sit
him
this
every
week?
No.
I think
I played him. I think I played him every week that he's played.
I thought you benched him this week. Maybe
he
you had him on
definitely
your
scored
bench
points against me this week.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's been pretty decent. I don't know about comeback player of the year, but Gabe Davis though, that's
Hey, Gabe Davis had 2 touchdowns.
I ain't saying much, but yes. And then your NFL take.
That's funny. I thought for sure that I had said that exact same thing about Zeke, and I just dropped him this week.
Yeah, I almost picked him up to
Joe
play
Flacco
instead of Eric Gray. Honestly, I almost picked him up. But yeah, your NFL take was Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl again and three-peat. So that could still certainly happen.
Wow. Dang. Little old me. I was so young.
Yeah, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
all right.
Dang. I had, guys, like I said, I had some notes. Let's see.
Oh yeah. Let's hear your notes.
Well, one of them was the whole idea of I just love that Christian picked up like all the Chiefs tight ends and then was like, I want all of them. I'm gonna get Noah Gray too. And then he traded what's his face? Kelsey. And then that's basically it. I don't know. Patrick Mahomes sucks. That was one of the things I wrote down.
Well, what's unfortunate? It's annoying because it's just like he's doing he's winning games in the NFL. Obviously, he's playing well. People are talking about him in the MVP conversation, even if it's not his most stellar season. He's performing and he's winning, so it hurts even more for it like not to be translating to fantasy.
Right, exactly. He's still so talented, still so smart. And just, yeah. So
well, and the Chiefs are just weird, man. Like literally, they had Juju Smith-Schuster getting like 130 yards, and then Kareem Hunt back from the dead, like going over 100 yards. And it's like no one was really starting them. Very few people, but like they're just a frustrating team fantasy wise. Like there was Clyde Edwards-Helaire hype for years. Then like this undrafted or 7th round, whatever Pacheco is coming in and like taking over the show. and then like they always draft receivers or trade for them or sign them in free agency, like Sammy Watkins, like 40 points week 1, and then like the rest of the season he's just terrible. They're so frustrating.
Yeah, I know, for sure. And then the last thing I had written down was, and like we don't have to talk about it now, but it was just you and me, Justin, like the Mark Andrews trade that we tried to make happen. I just thought that would have been interesting to like talk about, but anyway, I don't think we have time.
No, that is true. So yeah, preseason, you knew that you were going to be without T.J. Hawkinson for a little bit, and I had Njoku and Mark Andrews, feeling pretty good about my tight end room. You're like, hey, trade me Mark Andrews. You got Njoku. You got nothing to worry about. And like T.J. Hawkinson was part of that trade. In
the offseason, Njoku, like that feeling for Njoku was like high. I was like, it was like, hey, he's going to be great this year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what's crazy though is like not only did you end up getting Dallas Goedert, who's had some really good weeks. Bummer about the injury now, but
yeah,
luckily Hawkinson's aimed to come back. But week 1, Njoku got hurt, and so like he was out of play. But then I was like, okay, at least I have Mark Andrews, who I didn't trade away. So I was like super thankful that I didn't do that. But Mark Andrews has been a ghost. Now he has shown
this
some
week,
life.
Though. Yeah,
this week.
But like there was literally 2 weeks in a row where the dude had like 1 target, 0 catches, or like less than 3 fantasy points, and it's just been a laughingstock of the fantasy community.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's doing his job in the NFL, but of course, fantasy players won fantasy points, and he has not been living up to the hype. So that is interesting.
Well, the thing, because when I'd written this down, the thing that I was anticipating to happen was Mark Andrews sucking again, and it would have been interesting to talk about. And then also, because included in my trade was, I was like trying to sweeten the deal with Trey Sermon, because you had Jonathan Taylor. So I was hoping that Trey Sermon was going to get another touchdown this week, and then that would have been interesting. Yeah, exactly. So both the things that I thought were going to happen and be interesting and funny to talk about with you didn't. Like, it was just the opposite. So Mark Andrews did great job. Trey Sermon sucks. He's not a great handcuff to have, so I'll just
I did think about that when I was like, shoot, Jonathan Taylor's out, and then Mark Andrews is terrible, and I was like, you asked me, do you want Trey Sermon? And I was like, no, I'm good. But
I said, you'll be crying. You'll be crawling and crying to me later. But yeah, whatever. Fantasy's stupid.
Yeah, as Blake said, people that care about fantasy, what are they doing?
That's only when he has a bad week. Yeah. So this week is one of those.
Yeah, Saquon's a terrible player, fantasy wise. Like, what's he doing?
All right. Well,
hopefully Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw like 10 interceptions and I lose.
That'd be fantastic.
That would feel really sad, actually.
Yeah. Well, all right, Logan, land this plane.
Yeah. Well, last thing is, ending this night, I'm looking at 6-6 and outmanaged. So as of now, it hasn't calculated tonight's game, but as of now, I've outmanaged half the league. So
did I outmanage you? I think I did it, but a day late.
Did you outmanage me? Let's see.
It's like Thursday already happened.
I'll pull you up. You did not. No one outmanaged me.
Well, it's because we all forgot Thursday Night Football, and then we did it Friday.
I think I'm gonna add a push notification that goes out on Thursdays.
Oh, you should
setting the lineup. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that.
I'll
do that this week. Yeah, but yeah, cool. No one beat me this week. So, but I beat half the league. So, and shout out to Zach Miller and I think Christian for also competing and outmanaged against the whole league this week. I think they did everyone. So,
wow.
Yep. So shout out to them. All right.
Nice.
Otherwise,
looks like we got a good game too in the fourth quarter here. So
I know. I gotta beat the median in our 16-team league. So I need more points out of Adam Lazard.
Well, good.
Or Dalton
luck.
Kincaid. But I don't need points out of Garrett Wilson for another league. So I'll stop going into other leagues on this show.
Wow. Yeah, thanks for telling us about that, Logan.
Yeah, I know it's awkward now.
Should we talk about my other teams that's doing really well?
I doubt that exists.
No, it is.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Another episode of Commissioner Have a Problem. Thanks to Josh. And I hope all of you that are in the void are able to escape it. So we'll see y'all next time. Just like, subscribe, and download the Outmanager app.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
Catch y'all later.
See y'all.